So if we see the superior surface of the body of the sphenoid, this structure, it is the anterior border. This structure is the anterior border. It often contains a spine. This is called the ethmoidal spine. So this structure is the anterior border of sphenoid. This area is a jugum sphenoidal. This area is called the jugum sphenoidal, on which lies our olfactory stria. This is the area, this is the elevation. This elevation is called prechiasmatic sulcus. It is prechiasmatic ridge. This area is a prechiasmatic ridge. These are the two optic canal openings, and from the optic canal the optic nerve comes and they makes the optic chiasma here. So this is called chiasmatic sulcus. So this one is prechiasmatic ridge and this one is a chiasmatic sulcus. After the chiasmatic sulcus, again one small elevation we can get. This is called tuberculum selae. This elevation is known as tuberculum selae. After that, a gross depression. This is a gross depression, and this gross depression lodges the pituitary gland, so called as hypophyseal fossa. After the hypophyseal fossa, this region, the part got broken, so we get the dorsum selae. This region we get the dorsum selae. In an ideal bone, we can well good see the dorsum selae. And after the dorsum selae, this sloping part is called the clevus. This sloping part is called the clevus. So from superior surface we can expect this one is the anterior border of the sphenoid. This is jugum sphenoidal. This is the prechiasmatic ridge, chiasmatic sulcus, or sulcus chiasmaticus, tuberculum selae, hypophyseal fossa, then dorsum selae, then clevus. So if we see this figure, this is just a schematic diagram. On the side we can see. So this one is our anterior border with the ethmoidal spine. This is the jugum sphenoidal, and this one is the chiasmatic sulcus. If this one be the chiasmatic sulcus, so this line, that is number 4, is the chiasmatic sulcus. So number 3 will be the prechiasmatic ridge. After number 4 there is one elevation. This elevation is known as tuberculum selae. We make a fossa. This is hypophyseal fossa, and hypophyseal fossa again ends with a roof-like elevation. So this one is a dorsum selae. So number 7 is our dorsum selae. After that it has a sloping surface. This sloping surface is known as clevus. This sloping surface is known as clevus. So 1 it is the anterior border with the ethmoidal spine. 2 is jugum sphenoidal. 3 is prechiasmatic ridge. 4 is sulcus chiasmaticus. The 5 is our tuberculum selae. 6 is the hypophyseal fossa. 7 is dorsum selae, and 8 becomes the clevus. Now this region in most posterior part. This is the posterior surface of the body of sphenoid, and this posterior surface, it articulates with the basiocciput. This posterior surface articulates with the basiocciput. So here we can see this is a rough area, this rough posterior surface that articulates with the basiocciput. Now if we come to the anterior surface of the body, here it is quite broken, but you can jolly well see this is the air-filled cavity inside it, and this air-filled cavity is nothing but the sphenoidal air sinus. This air-filled cavity is nothing but the sphenoidal air sinus. So anterior surface of the body, we can draw it roughly in this fashion. In the midline it has a crest. So in the, you see, in the midline it has a crest. On both sides we get the plate, and this plate is divided in lower medial part and upper lateral part. The lower medial part, it is nothing but the opening of sphenoidal air sinus. The lower medial part is the opening of the sphenoidal air sinus. Upper lateral part, it attaches with the labyrinth of ethmoid. Upper lateral part, it attaches with the labyrinth of ethmoid. Now let us come to the inferior surface. See, inferior surface in the midline, it has a crest. It has a crest, or this crest is called as sphenoidal rostrum. So in the midline, this crest is known as sphenoidal rostrum. On both sides, you can see these are the two processes, and this process is known as the vaginal process of sphenoid. This process is known as the vaginal process of sphenoid. So if we can see from here, see, this is a nose-like protrusion, so called as a rostrum of sphenoid, and here this is one vaginal process of sphenoid, and this is another vaginal process of sphenoid. So you see, this is a rostrum of sphenoid. We called it, this is a rostrum of sphenoid, and this rostrum ends on sides. This rostrum ends on sides as this vaginal process. This rostrum ends on sides as the vaginal process. So this is our vaginal processes. These are the two vaginal processes. And this vaginal process, it articulates, this vaginal process as well as this rostrum of sphenoid, it articulates with the vomer bone. See, this is the vomer bone. So vomer bone, it is a V-shaped, and V has a long tail. This makes the septum of the nose. See, this vomer bone, it when articulates with the upper border of the vaginal process, here it makes the canal. This canal is known as vomerovaginal canal. And this vomerovaginal canal does not allow any structure to pass through it. So no structure passes through the vomerovaginal canal. Now, if this one is our schematic diagram for the palatine bone, and this is the perpendicular plate of palatine bone, you see, this palatine bone, it articulates with the inferior surface of the vaginal canal, and that makes the palatovaginal canal. That makes the palatovaginal canal, and this, through this palatovaginal canal, pharyngeal branch from pterygopalatine ganglia passes. A nerve passes. This nerve will come from the pterygopalatine ganglia. Pharyngeal nerve, a branch from the pterygopalatine ganglia passes. So feature of the anterior surface is a midline crest. On both sides it has a plate. This plate is known as sphenoidal concha, and that is in the lower medial part there is opening of sphenoidal air sinus. See, this is a great sphenoidal air sinus. It opens in the lower medial part. In the upper lateral part, this part, in upper lateral part, this is a portion for attachment of labyrinth of ethmoid. In the inferior surface, it has rostrum. See, this is a rostrum. Inferior surface, it has rostrum, and on both sides there are the vaginal process. This vaginal process and rostrum, it attaches to the vomer as well as palatine bone. It attaches to the vomer and the palatine bone. That makes the vomerovaginal canal. No structure passes through it. Palatovaginal canal, the pharyngeal branch from the pterygopalatine ganglia passes. Now come to the lateral surface. So if this one is the body, on lateral surface, we get a sulcus. This is the lateral surface where we get a sulcus, and this sulcus is bounded by a tongue-like projection. This is known as lingula. This is known as our carotid sulcus. This carotid sulcus, it lodges, the carotid sulcus, rather this one, it lodges the internal carotid artery as well as the cavernous sinus. And on the lateral side of the body, there is an attachment of the greater wing of the sphenoid. So this one is superior surface, this one is lateral surface, this is our posterior surface, and here we have the inferior surface, and here we have the anterior surface of sphenoid, body of the sphenoid.